Dixie here. Today I want to tell you about some gear that I'm thinking about trying out this year. I don't know exactly where I'll be testing this gear out as I haven't quite dialed in my hiking plans for the year. I was thinking about doing the Arizona Trail this spring, but I've got some dental procedures coming up, and I also just started the autoimmune protocol diet, trying to figure out what's going on with my immune system. But that'll definitely be fun to try some new foods while I'm out backpacking. So anyway, this summer, fall, and hopefully even late spring, I will be hitting the trails. And when I figure out those plans for sure, I will let y'all know. But anyway, let's talk about some of the gear that I'm looking into taking along with me. First things first, let's talk about shelters. I've been eyeing the Durston XMid Pro 2 for a while. It's a two-person single-walled tent with a Dyneema body and sil nylon floor. The setup for this tent looks like the most simplistic setup that I've ever seen for a backpacking tent. You just stake out the four corners of the tent, slide in your trekking poles, and adjust them to a length where they look like everything's taut and in place. There's no estimating angles or leaving some slack for sliding in your trekking poles. It just looks very straightforward. And after a long day of hiking, especially on a through hike, minimizing my camp setup is high on the priority list for shelters. I also like that it's designed where your vestibule can be raised up to allow more airflow and prevent condensation issues. But if it's storming or it's really cold outside and you want to cinch things a little bit tighter to the ground, then that's an option too. This would prevent backsplash from rain or cold drafts. I guess that is one thing that I haven't been completely happy about with my Zpacks DupleXL is that there is a good amount of space from the vestibule bottom to the floor, and it does allow drafts to come through. I've always just looked at it like, well, all in all, that prevents some condensation because I have good airflow, and there are always trade-offs. But another issue I've had with the Zpacks DupleXL is sometimes my feet will push the bathtub floor past the wall of the tent, and I've flooded my own tent in the rain before because of this issue. So I'm wondering if the XMid Pro 2 having the vestibule that would go to the ground would hopefully prevent me being able to push the bathtub floor out past the wall. And in case you are worried about condensation with the vestibule going to the ground, they do have upper vents that you can prop open as long as you're not getting a monsoon, and that will help ventilate things without getting those colder drafts right in your face while you're sleeping. The XMid Pro 2, just the tent itself, weighs 20.4 ounces, but there are a minimum of 4 stakes to set it up. So if you order the aluminum stakes that they offer when you buy a tent from them, then the 4 stakes, the tent itself, and the stuff sack comes out to 21.8 ounces. The cost is right up there with the other Dyneema tent options. This one is $679, but if you opt in on the aluminum stakes, then it comes out to $689. The biggest problem I can find with this tent is the availability. I signed up several months ago to be notified when it was available to order, but by the time I saw the email and went to their website, it was already sold out. The popularity of the original XMid, which I also wanted to test but could never get a hold of, along with the ongoing situation in the world, are probably going to make this new tent really difficult to get my hands on for the foreseeable future anyway. And I'm probably not making it any easier by talking about it in a video. But even if I were to get my hands on one and I was able to review it, I'm not sure how helpful that would be for people watching, because if you can't get one, then it doesn't matter how great it is. And I know a lot of people think, well, you could just tell them that you want to review it for your YouTube channel, and I'm sure that they'll make it a priority to get you one. But as I've mentioned before, I like to purchase products just like everybody else, just like a normal customer, because then I also know what the customer service experience is like. And so for this, it's a tough one to get your hands on, but it looks like it would be a really cool shelter if you could. Another tent I'm considering, especially because I haven't been able to get the XMid Pro 2, is the Zpacks DupleXL. From what I understand, it's basically a supersized version of the Zpacks DupleXL made with taller people in mind. Now I was comparing the Duplex to the DupleXL as far as volume, dimensions, and footprint, you know, how much area you're actually taking up with the tent. And all of those look to be exactly the same. Well, except for the width in inches is supposedly 1 inch narrower in the DupleXL, but somehow the centimeters stayed exactly the same. I think that's just a misprint. But even though everything is the same area as far as the space the tent takes up, there are 6 additional inches of usable bathtub floor space in the DupleXL. So I was wondering, how in the world did they manage to take up the same amount of space but give you more usable floor space? And also, the Zpacks website mentioned that the overhang of the wall area around the tent is the same as the Duplex was. But on YouTube, on a video that they have about the DupleXL, somebody asked, is there less overhang on the DupleXL? And Zpacks commented and said, yes, actually, there is a shorter overhang. So, with my previous concerns of the Duplex, I was hoping that the DupleXL would fix those. And again, that was, sometimes my feet will push out the bathtub floor past the wall and I flood my own tent when it's raining. And then also sometimes my foot box will touch the wall and get some condensation on it and it'll be a little damp and soggy. So I thought, man, having more bathtub floor, that should protect me from my feet hitting the wall and hopefully my feet pushing out the bathtub floor. But knowing that the vestibule wall overhang is less, that concerns me that it's really not going to fix that issue if my feet do happen to hit the bathtub floor. But the possible saving grace of this design is that in the head space area and the foot space area on the outside, there are these little riser rods and you can stake those in place. So I'm hoping that that would help from being able to push that bathtub floor out past the wall with your feet and having more usable space and also a little bit more vertical space in the head and feet area. Hopefully that would keep the wall from touching my quilt or sleeping bag. The packed weight of the original Duplex with the stuff sack, the guy lines, is 19 ounces. The packed weight of the DupleXL with the same thing, stuff sack, guy lines, etc., is only 1.6 ounces more, so 20.6 ounces. Now for the Duplex, you have to have a minimum of 6 stakes to set it up, and with the DupleXL, you have to have 8 stakes, so you'll have the weight of 2 more stakes in addition to that 1.6 ounces. The Duplex is currently set at $699 and the DupleXL is set at $749. Now they do have some different color options that you can choose that will make the tent more expensive. A lot of those are also a little thicker Dyneema, so they'll also make the tent a little bit heavier. But for people who are just getting into backpacking, or even those of you who have been into backpacking for a while but you're still on a pretty tight budget, I want to test out some more budget gear. So if you've been scoping out some budget gear but you hadn't pulled the trigger yet and you'd like me to be the guinea pig, then feel free to leave those shelter suggestions that are budget friendly but also hopefully still reasonably lightweight in the comments below, and I'll check that out. And finally, in the realm of shelters, I still haven't given up finding a better ultralight hammock setup. Last time I put together a hammock setup, I focused on getting something that was lightweight as possible, but also was a one-stop shop type thing, because I feel like as a beginner, I mean, even with me being an experienced backpacker, but a beginning hammocker, it just seemed overwhelming trying to piece together different components from different companies. So I went with one company that I knew had a good product and tried to put the most lightweight setup together that I could. So going forward, I still want to come up with a lightweight setup where I piece together different components from different companies. So I possibly will be looking into more of that this year. Overall, I just feel like I could come up with something that's more lightweight that I like better. All right, moving on down the line, let's talk about packs. Last September, I ordered a Moment Strohl Mountain Light 45 liter pack. Now, the reason I was really excited to test out this pack is because a backpacking photographer was the one who was behind this design and worked with Moment to put out a pack that would work well for backpacking but also carrying camera equipment out on the trail. I ordered the Ultimate Bundle, which came with the pack itself, a camera insert, and a camera loader, all for $350. Now, you can get just the pack itself for $250. It weighs 1 kilogram or 2.2 pounds, and it looks like it has all the typical bells and whistles that you would expect out of a backpacking pack. You know, decent shoulder straps and hip belt, cup holders on either side of the pack, hip belt pockets, etc. But it's also got different camera attachment points. And honestly, I've been using the Peak Design clip for a while now with my camera. I carry it on my left shoulder because it's just easy to reach over, release, point, and shoot. But my left shoulder is tired, y'all, from carrying all that weight on that shoulder over and over. I tried switching it out to the right shoulder, but it's just more awkward to grab and release for me because I'm right-handed. So I'm looking forward to getting this pack and being able to test some different setup options for quickly grabbing the camera while also protecting it from bashing into a tree while I'm hiking, and also making it as comfortable as possible. As I mentioned, I ordered it in September, and unfortunately, it still hasn't come in yet. I understand that a lot of materials and production, etc., for different things have been on hold due to COVID, but I am hoping that this one will come in sooner rather than later. Another pack I'm scoping out is the Mo 60 liter made by Atom Packs. Atom Packs are made in England, and if you check out their website, they've got all sorts of cool, funky colors that you can custom design your pack with. The reason I'm scoping out the Mo design in particular from Atom Packs, because they've got several different designs, is it is just over a 2-pound pack, so it's 33 ounces, but its weight capacity is 42 pounds. And if anybody can test the weight limit and also comfort with that weight limit of a pack, it's me. Now, they aren't the cheapest packs. This one in particular, I think with doing a little currency conversion, will cost me somewhere around $460 to $470. The smaller designs are more budget friendly, so if you don't need as much space or as much of a weight capacity as I do, then you can get one for cheaper than that. But I am always looking for a lightweight pack that is also very comfortable carrying these heavier loads that I have to with all of my camera equipment. On the budget side of things, I recently ordered from Amazon the Nevo Rhino pack. It basically looks like, how can I say this the nicest way, a borrowed version of an Osprey pack, one of their more lightweight packs. They have multiple volumes of this pack available. I got a 50 liter pack for $65. In hindsight, if I could do it again, I would have gotten the 60 liter pack for $75 because the volume of the pack is actually X plus 5 liters on the outside. So if it's a 60 liter pack, you actually have 55 on the inside with 5 on the outside. And so my 50 liter that I ordered is 45 on the inside and 5 on the outside. I can definitely make that work, but for a longer haul or a through hike where you're going to have variable days, stretches throughout the whole hike, then I want to know I could have a bigger food carry if I needed to. The claimed weight for the pack on the website is 2.65 pounds. I'm sure that fluctuates depending on which capacity pack you get. But that's definitely in the range of a more lightweight Osprey pack. If you follow me on social media, then you might have seen that I recently went and filled in the Seminole Indian Reservation on the Florida Trail. Last year, I was unable to hike it because it was closed due to COVID, so had to get picked up at the gate and then dropped off at the other gate, but I wanted to go fill in my footsteps, and I was able to do so before my start date, so that just made it bonus points for me. So I was able to do a little bit of a test with this pack, but I'd like to take it back out, add more weight onto it, and see how it carries. And once I get a full-on test and I feel pretty confident about my opinions of this pack, then I'll share that with y'all. But so far it seems like a pretty decent quality pack for its price range. For a budget pack, I've definitely tried some that are worse than this one. But if you've got some additional budget pack suggestions, please leave that in the comments, because I'm still always looking for more decent budget gear to recommend to people. As far as quilts go, I am, for now, at least, stuck using synthetic quilts. And I know that sounds ugly. I really do love down bags and quilts because they compress so small and they keep you so warm and they're lightweight. But because of allergies, right now I'm going to stick with synthetic. I really like the Enlightened Equipment synthetic quilt that I used last year, but because I am a newbie at synthetic quilts, I'll probably be doing some more research and looking for some different ones to try, because as we all know, gear is an ever evolving thing and we rarely stick with the first purchase that we make. This holds true also for my Enlightened Equipment Torrid synthetic coat, actually, that I have on right now. I like this coat, but again, I am open to suggestions. So if y'all synthetic quilters, sleeping baggers, and synthetic jacket folks have any recommendations, I am all ears. As far as footwear goes, I have really grown to love my TopoAthletic Venture trail runners. I'd still like to try their Runventures though, because they are a zero drop shoe, and that's what I was coming from with Altra when I tried the TopoAthletic Ventures. Now, I haven't completely broken up with Altra though, and I see that they've come out with their Lone Peak 6s, so I may end up giving those a try also. Another thing that I want to try as far as my feet go is a new pair of socks. Now, I'm somebody who loves sleeping in thicker socks at night because I'm cold-natured and I freeze, and typically I just go with a thicker pair of wool socks, usually Darn Tough or Farm to Feet, because I love their lifetime guarantee. But I saw that Zpacks has Brushtail Possum socks, and for a lot of years I've been using their Possum down gloves whenever it's cold out. So I'm tempted to try the Brushtail Possum socks because it just sounds like they would be so warm and cozy. They're only 3-ish ounces depending on what size you get, and they cost $25 a pair. That's a little bit steeper than the Darn Toughs or the Farm to Feet. Those usually run around 20-ish, maybe a little bit less. So it's not too high up there, but also they don't have that lifetime guarantee. I figure though, if I'm just sleeping in the Brushtail Possum socks, then they're not gonna get as worn out as they would if I was hiking in them. So that's it as far as specific gear goes. But I'm brainstorming on doing a full-on Walmart gear hack. I know a tight budget can be a big barrier for getting into the world of backpacking, so I just want to show folks what it might look like and what the experience might be like if you were to just go to Walmart and get everything that you need for a backpacking trip there. That way I can go, okay, yes, this tent might actually work for you, or no, definitely do not get this tent. It's worth, ordering something else on whatever instead. But I don't know, I just thought it would be a fun challenge to limit myself to strictly what I could go to Walmart and get. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. I pretty much already made up my mind that that's what I'm gonna do, but I just figured it would be a fun challenge limiting myself to Walmart gear and then I can let y'all know how it actually performs. Well, all right, y'all, that is all I have for you today. I'm looking forward to trying out some of this stuff that I mentioned this year, and also I want to see what y'all's suggestions are in the comments. So don't forget to leave those, and we will see y'all next time.